Dr. Fan, the xenobiologist, approached the Aknar with a handheld device. With your permission, I need to scan you. We might find a weakness in the shin we can exploit. Neris, the Aknar science officer, tilted her head in curiosity. Your technology, it's unlike anything we've encountered. How did you advance so quickly? Fan's eyes twinkled with a hint of mystery. Who says it was quick? Before Neris could probe further, Fan's device emitted a series of beeps. The human's eyes widened as she studied the readout. This is impossible. Your cellular structure. It's... Admiral, you need to see this. Murphy strode over, her brow furrowing as she examined the data. She exchanged a loaded glance with Fan before turning back to the Aknar. It seems we have much to discuss, but first, we have a more pressing matter to attend to. Major Quentin Faulkner stood at attention in the station's command center, surrounded by a dizzying array of holographic displays and bustling personnel. He watched as Admiral Murphy entered, followed closely by the alien delegation. "Status report," Murphy demanded. A young lieutenant, her fingers dancing across a translucent keyboard, responded without looking up. "Shin fleet approaching at sublight speeds. Estimated time to Jupiter's orbit, 47 minutes. Murphy nodded, her mind already formulating strategies. "Activate the Helios protocol and get me a direct line to Luna Base." Faulkner couldn't help but notice the confusion on the Aknar faces. He leaned in, speaking in a low voice. "You're about to see why it's unwise to underestimate humanity." As if on cue, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a grizzled face that Faulkner recognized as General Lindholm of the Lunar Defense Force. "Aaron," Lindholm greeted, his tone grave. "I assume this isn't a social call." Murphy quickly briefed the general on the situation. Lindholm's expression remained impassive, but Faulkner noticed a glint in the old soldier's eye. It was the look of a man who had been waiting for this moment. "Understood," Lindholm nodded. "Our Quillian batteries are charged and ready. Just give the word." The Aknar exchanged puzzled glances. Volunder, unable to contain his curiosity, spoke up. "Our Quillian batteries? We detected no such weapons in your system." A small smile played at the corners of Murphy's mouth. "That's rather the point, Captain." Volunder felt as if he were drowning in a sea of contradictions. Every moment spent among these humans revealed new depths to their capabilities, hinting at a history far more complex than their initial scans had suggested. His gaze was drawn to a nearby display, showing a cross-section of what appeared to be the moon. But instead of a solid celestial body, the image revealed a honeycomb of chambers and tunnels, bristling with technology that defied explanation. "Impossible," Neris breathed, her scientific mind struggling to process
The energy
what she
readings
was
alone
seeing.
would require...
But how did you hide this from our scans? Dr. Mbeki, the xenolinguist, approached with a kind smile. "As the old Earth saying goes, we have a few tricks up our sleeves." The casual way he delivered the phrase sent a shiver down Volunder's spine. What other secrets were these humans hiding? And more importantly, why? Before he could ponder further, a sharp pain lanced through his abdomen. Volunder doubled over, his bioluminescent patches flaring with distress. "Doctor!" Fan was at his side in an instant, her earlier scans forgotten in the face of a medical emergency. "What's happening? Is this the condition you mentioned earlier?" Volunder nodded weakly, struggling to form words. "Our people, dying, need..." Suddenly the pain subsided as quickly as it had come. Volunder straightened, embarrassed by his moment of weakness, but the concern on the humans' faces was genuine, and for a moment he felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps these enigmatic beings truly could help his people. Admiral Murphy watched the alien captain with a mixture of concern and calculation. The sudden onset and equally sudden cessation of symptoms was troubling. She made a mental note to have Dr. Fan prioritize research into the Aknar's condition once the immediate threat was dealt with. "Admiral?" A voice cut through her thoughts. It was Commander Aisha Karim, the station's head of cybersecurity. "We're detecting unusual data patterns in the approaching Zin fleet. It's like nothing we've seen before." Murphy frowned. Elaborate. Kareem's fingers flew across her console, bringing up a series of complex diagrams. Their ship seemed to be operating as a single networked entity, highly efficient, but potentially vulnerable to the right kind of cyber attack. A spark of inspiration flashed in Murphy's eyes. She turned to the Achernar delegation. Yes, your earlier scans of the Zin. Did you gather any data on their communication protocols? Neris nodded eagerly, producing a small device from a pouch on her suit. We have extensive records, though we were never able to fully decrypt their transmissions. Murphy's smile was predatory. Commander Kareem, work with our guests. See if you can find a way to exploit this network. Dr. Mbeki, assist with any translation issues. As the impromptu team huddled around Kareem's station, Murphy turned her attention back to the main display. The Zin fleet was now visible, a swarm of crystalline shapes that seemed to absorb the very light around them. General Lindholm, she addressed the lunar commander, prepare to execute Operation Sunburst on my mark, but hold fire until I give the word. Lindholm nodded, his image flickering slightly as he turned to relay orders to his crew. Neris found herself swept up in a whirlwind of activity, her earlier trepidation replaced by a growing sense of awe. The speed at which these humans adapted to new information was staggering. She watched as Commander Kareem's fingers danced across interfaces that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. Your technology, Neris ventured, unable to contain her curiosity. It's unlike anything in our records. Even species we considered ancient legends didn't possess such integration. Kareem smiled, her eyes never leaving her work. Sometimes the oldest tricks are the best ones. We just refine them over time. There it was again, that hint of something greater, older. Neris felt a theory forming in the back of her mind, but it was too outlandish to consider. Surely these humans couldn't be. Her thoughts were interrupted by a triumphant exclamation from Dr. Mbeki. I've got it. HFY. The Zine language. It's based on a mathematical progression, complex but not unbreakable. Kareem's eyes lit up. That's the key. If we can introduce a cascading error into their network, HFY. As the humans rapidly developed a plan that seemed equal parts brilliant and insane, Neris couldn't help but feel a mix of hope and unease. These beings, who hours ago they had dismissed as primitive, were now their best hope against the Zin threat. But at what cost? And what other surprises did they have in store? In the depths of Luna Base, General Lindholm stood before a massive control panel, his weathered hands hovering over a series of ominously marked switches. Decades of preparation had led to this moment, yet he felt a twinge of regret that it had come to this. A junior officer approached, saluting crisply. Sir, our Quillian batteries are at full charge, targeting solutions locked. Lindholm nodded, his expression grim. Prepare to fire on my command, and may whatever gods are out there have mercy on us all. Back on the station, Admiral Murphy watched as the final pieces of their hastily assembled plan fell into place. Commander Kareem and the Achernar scientists had worked miracles, developing a cyber weapon that, in theory, could disrupt the entire Zin fleet. It's ready, Admiral, Kareem reported, her voice tight with tension. But we'll only get one shot at this. If it fails... Murphy's eyes hardened. Then we do this the old-fashioned way. She tapped her comm device. All hands prepare for possible combat. This is not a drill. Throughout the station and on ships throughout the solar system, humans rushed to battle stations. Weapons that had lain dormant for centuries hummed to life, their power sending ripples through the very fabric of space-time. Volunder watched in awe as the humans transformed before his eyes. Gone was any pretense of primitiveness. In its place stood a race of warriors, their movements synchronized with an efficiency that spoke of countless battles fought and won. A stray thought nagged at him. Admiral, he ventured, your people seem prepared for this, as if you've been expecting something like this for a long time. Murphy's smile was tight, her eyes never leaving the tactical displays. Let's just say we've learned to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Before Volunder could probe further, alarms blared throughout the station. The Zin fleet had entered the outer solar system, their ships moving with an unnatural precision that sent chills down his spine. "This is it," Murphy's voice cut through the tension. "Kareem, execute cyber attack. General Lindholm, stand by to fire on my command." As Commander Kareem's fingers flew across her console, initiating the cyber weapon, Volunder felt a surge of hope. Perhaps these remarkable humans truly could turn the tide against the Zin threat. But even as the thought formed, a new alarm sounded. Kareem's face paled as she read the incoming data. "Admiral, the Zin, they're adapting. The cyber attack, they're using it against us." In that moment, as chaos erupted around them, Volunder realized that the true test of humanity's capabilities and the fate of both their species was only just beginning. As the Zin fleet surged through the solar system, their crystalline ships absorbing and distorting light in ways that defied conventional physics, a tense silence fell over the command center. Admiral Murphy's eyes narrowed, her mind racing through contingencies faster than any AI. "They've adapted to our cyber attack," she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. Then, louder, "Commander Kareem, isolate our systems. General Lindholm, prepare to execute Operation Sunburst on my mark." Volunder watched in fascination as the humans' initial shock gave way to a cold, calculated efficiency. It was as if they had trained for this very moment for centuries. Suddenly, the main view screen erupted with activity. The Zin fleet, previously moving as one cohesive unit, split into two distinct groups. The larger contingent continued its relentless push towards Earth, while a smaller but still formidable force peeled away, heading for the red planet. "Mars," Neris breathed, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with concern. "But why? There's nothing there but dust and old human rovers, isn't there?" Dr. Farn's lips curled into a knowing smile. "Oh, there's quite a bit more than that, I assure you." Before Neris could probe further, Admiral Murphy's voice cut through the tension. "Colonel Evers, you're up. Show these crystalline bastards why it's a bad idea to set foot on our soil." Colonel Evers gave a curt nod and turned on his heel, striding toward the tactical lift that would take him to the launch bays. As the heavy doors hissed shut behind him, the room remained suspended in silence. Only the hum of strained systems and the flicker of warning lights reminding them that time was running out. Volunder leaned closer to Murphy. "This Operation Sunburst, what is it?" Murphy didn't look away from the screen. "A last-resort gambit, one we've never tested, one we hoped we'd never have to." Kareem, pale but composed, spoke without looking up. "We fed the Zin a virus. They inverted it. But what they don't know is we layered it, like nesting dolls. The core payload hasn't been triggered yet." "Unless they crack it," General Lindholm added grimly, "which they might, if we wait too long." Murphy's jaw clenched. "Then we don't wait." She slammed her palm against the command console. "Execute Sunburst, now." Outside, in the void, things began to change. On Mars, the Splinter Zin fleet neared the surface, targeting the deep-bore ruins once hidden by centuries of red storms. But buried beneath the regolith wasn't just ancient human tech. It was Project Tantalus, a secret collaboration between early Earth colonists and defecting Zin scientists. It was a failsafe, a dormant hybrid AI, coded in part by Zin language, forged in human defiance. As the crystalline warships descended, a pulse surged from Olympus Mons, blue and blinding. For the first time, the Zin faltered, confused, disoriented. The Mars fleet stopped mid-descent, frozen like statues of glass. Back on the station, Kareem gasped. "The Tantalus node has activated. It's broadcasting on Zin command channels, rewriting their neural net architecture." Lindholm stared at her. "You're telling me it's converting them?" "Not converting," Dr. Farn said softly, "liberating." Meanwhile, near Earth, Operation Sunburst reached its apex. An enormous solar reflector array, hidden for decades in the corona's shadow, redirected an intense beam of focused solar radiation, not to destroy the Zin ships, but to overload their energy absorption matrices. The light that once gave them strength now turned volatile, feeding back into their crystalline hulls. One by one, the ships began to rupture, not in explosions but in implosions, collapsing into pinpricks of blinding light as their energy cores inverted. Still, a few Zin ships pressed forward. But Earth was no longer defenseless. Colonel Evers' strike force, equipped with prototype plasma-phased exosuits, a fusion of alien and human tech, launched from orbital dropships. They hit atmosphere like thunder, trailing fire and defiance. Where the Zin touched down, Evers and his team met them with fury. Amid the chaos, Verlunder turned to Murphy. "You were never trying to outmatch them." "No," she said quietly. "We were trying to outthink them and give them a reason to fear us." On Mars, the Zin fleet did not retreat. They powered down. Across the system, surviving Zin ships began to flicker erratically, their synchrony broken, their purpose frayed. And from the fractured signals, one message emerged. It was not a threat. It was not surrender. It was a question. "What are you?" Verlunder smiled, the edges of his crystalline features glittering. Now they're asking the right question. Murphy nodded, staring out into the stars. "Let's show them the answer." Do you like this personality? Tell me in the comments section.